Hey homestead peeps! So I have a lot of questions for you today, and perhaps we can put our heads together and come up with some solutions. So why do I have these questions and what am I thinking about? I guess if you know our story, we started homesteading back in March when COVID hit. And part of the reason we homesteaded, I just saw a hummingbird fly by. That was really cool. Part of the reason that we started homesteading was it's always been something we've always wanted to do, but when we were stuck at home, it was like, this is a great time. We've got the time now to start these things that we've always wanted to do, but also because I've always had this sense of a need to be completely self-sufficient, to be independent. I don't necessarily desire to live off-grid, although some of you do, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Living off-grid at times sounds very enticing to me, but I do enjoy some of the comforts of modern day, I won't lie. But I do want to be prepared in the event that I need to shift my way of living from what I'm currently enjoying to whatever I need for self-sufficiency or survival or what have you. So I got to thinking about some questions. What if this happened? What if that happened? What would I do? What would I need? Could I be better prepared? So question number one, what if my electricity was suddenly gone? Well, at our house, we do have a generator that we have as a backup. So we have a propane tank to fuel the generator. But realistically, that's not going to last us but a few days, and then we're going to be without electricity. One of the suggestions would be probably to go towards solar energy, which living in Florida, that is a viable source for us because we have a lot of sunshine, a lot of daylight hours. So that would be a good alternative to not having electricity. We may just have to do without electricity. But that would lead me to question number two. So question number two would be, if our electricity went off, we're also going to lose our water source. We're not on city water. We're on well water, and naturally our well needs electricity to run. So where would I get water? Well, for me, and please drop in the comments, what are your alternative sources for electricity and alternative sources for water if they were suddenly gone? For us, we have a son that actually lives on a water source, a spring-fed pond, and although it is a pond and it is water that would probably need to be purified and boiled and that kind of thing, it is a possibility if we needed it. Also, we've looked into the possibility of a hand pump to be added to our existing well. So those are some of the things that we're thinking about. What have you thought about? What are your alternative means of water if you were to suddenly lose your water source? So food. If you were to, grocery stores, whatever, were to be suddenly shut down and you were not able to obtain food, Or let's just say we shift to a totally cashless society and you aren't able to purchase food, whatever. And please, I'm not trying to be try to scare people. I'm just coming from a position of being prepared in the what ifs. So if you needed food for your family, obviously we couldn't go out and begin planting seeds and starting a garden. At that point, we would starve to death before the garden was actually grows up to produce food. So what are you doing to store food now in the event that something were to happen and you would need enough food? I think experts say 6 months, a food supply stored up for 6 months worth of food. And because electricity may not be a viable resource, I would suggest not storing much of your food in freezers. So we either need to store in cans, or we can buy canned goods from the grocery store now, and we can begin canning from our garden as well to build up that supply. Also, dry goods last a long time and they store for a long time if we keep the moisture out of them. So these are some alternatives. Okay, so let's say, what if my house burned? What if I was suddenly kicked off of my property because the government claimed eminent domain and I didn't have a chance to take with me the things that belong to me? And I know these sound like extreme things, but they are possible scenarios should things go south quickly. So do you have food stored elsewhere? Do you have neighbors who are like-minded that you could work together to share resources or to share supplies or to store food at their place and they store food at your place? So if one work things out together, because there is safety in numbers. So these are some things to think about. We talked about a cashless society. What if you did go to a cashless society? How would you obtain supplies? Like I said, neighbors, friends who are like-minded are really important. Also, bartering is a good system to be able to obtain supplies that you need. And things, storing some of those things that you are able to barter with. Coffee is something. Tylenol, acetaminophen, those types of things are good bartering items. Alcohol, not just drinking alcohol, but antiseptic alcohol, rubbing alcohol, both of those are good options. Hey, what about protection? What if somebody came up to your house and wanted to take your supplies or your food that you had stored up by force? How would you protect yourself? How would you protect your family? How would you protect them and keep them from taking those kinds of things? These are all questions that run through my head, and just what ifs. And if you play that what if scenario in your head, it helps you to begin thinking of, how can I better prepare? How can I be self-sufficient? How can I not depend on other people or the government or organizations, companies, for electricity and for groceries and for supplies and those kinds of things? So I really would like to hear from you in this video. What have you thought through? What are some of the things? What are some of your what ifs? And what are some of your solutions to the what ifs that you've heard on this video, or some of the solutions that you've had for your what ifs? Drop a comment down below, and let's share. Let's, two minds are better than one, and let's share our information and work together as a community and how we can be better prepared. Remember, do your best and let God do the rest. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to tap that notification bell so you get a notification every time we have a new video come out, which is usually on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we will see you next week.